Good evening. I'd like to call to order the February 13th, 2017 Lake Washington School Board meeting. All board members are present, and before I ask for a motion to approve the agenda, there's one modest amendment to the agenda. We're going to push the host school behind the recognitions. Just the one recognition. That's what I meant. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll approve the amended agenda. I move for approval of the amended agenda.
Okay.
A second.
Moved by Ms. Bernard, seconded by Eric La Liberty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. So motion carries, and we're on to the recognitions. So for the beginning of our recognitions, it is my pleasure to at least begin the recognition of Nancy Bernard for her service and leadership as a board member and a board president. On the board's behalf, this is actually my line. I'm actually supposed to take credit for these lovely flowers that clearly someone else came up with. Thank you to whomever helped us. But Nancy, we know you enjoy your garden.
Thank you. These are lovely, and I need a new hellebores. Thank you very much. I know who picked them up.
So on the board's behalf, we present this token of appreciation, which is obviously not nearly enough for all of her years of service. I think a round of applause is quite appropriate.
Thank you.
So Nancy has announced her solemn plans to actually retire and have fun. So we're trying to enjoy her while she lasts, although she insists she's just going to get grumpier from here on out.
While she lasts?
No, while her time with us lasts, not while she lasts. Listen carefully. That's what I'd say about you. No, all right.
My best to train you.
She did.
You've got to keep at
There's only
this.
so much you can do.
You gotta watch Chris with that gavel.
But I really am appreciative of the time. It's been a fascinating experience, and after,
I'm not leaving.
How long have you been on here?
It will be 20 years at the end of my term.
That will be very impressive.
I'm just done with the gavel.
You're just done with the gavel, which is marvelously fun, and I do thank you for breaking it in. If you would like, anybody else care to say a word or two?
Just want to echo Chris's comments, and thank you so much for serving as board president. How many times did you serve as board president?
Just twice.
Just twice.
It's like herding cats.
But both times, I know you did an outstanding job, and thank you for all that you did, and as board president, and continue to do in your role. And you're right, you're not leaving, you're not going anywhere yet. We just wanted to thank you for your service as board president.
Thank you. But I am having a special session on February 27th, Monday, because if you want to be on the board, you need Mondays available, from 7 to 8 here at the district for anyone interested in board service.
For learning about all the joy that it is that we are engaged in from an experienced hand. All right. Well, enough of embarrassing Nancy. So now on to the host school, which is our PTSA council.
Absolutely. So we're really pleased to welcome Liz Dreen, who's president of the Lake Washington PTSA Council, the outstanding council of the year for 15-16. So anyway, Lake Washington PTSA is our host school tonight, and then right after the host school presentation, you're going to go right into the reflections.
Yes, we are.
Great, wonderful. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you very much. Is this working? I'd just like to say on behalf of, speaking as a parent and as a PTSA, thank you to Nancy for 20 years is amazing. And my kids have been in the school district for 10 years, and I have 2 successfully in college, so yay. It's worked for us, so thank you very much. Like I said, I'm Liz Hadreen. I am the president this year for Lake Washington PTSA Council. So thank you for having us here today to just talk a little bit about what council is and what we're doing this year. So what is a council? is a group of PTAs and PTSAs. Our council is the Lake Washington School District. We have 41 PTAs and PTSAs in our council. We have, as you can see there, 15,944 PTA members in our council. 16,000 is our goal for this year. So if you're not yet a member, you can take out your phone and find your local school and become a member of your PTA. Our mission as a council, and if you don't know what a council is, we're a board at the district level, and we're not connected to any one school, but our job is to support our 41 PTAs and also to be a resource to the families in the community, the Lake Washington School District community. So what do we do? What does that mean that we support our PTAs? Each PTA is a nonprofit corporation, and we all know what the PTAs do in our schools. They run all the enrichment programs and staff appreciation and all those great things that enrich our school and help our staff and help our parents. But for all those programs to happen well, the business of the PTA needs to run smoothly. And what is that business? I mean, it's a nonprofit corporation. We have monthly meetings, and we have minutes, and we have insurance, and we have tax returns and financial reporting, and all of this stuff is being done by parent volunteers. And especially at like the elementary level, sometimes not only are they like brand new to PTA, but some of these volunteers are brand new to school. Like they really don't know what they're doing. Bless their hearts. And so the job of our council and any council is to help our PTAs run their business effectively so that they can do all the fun stuff, the programs and the enrichment and the granting of money. So that's what we do. That's what every council does. And we do this we provide a lot of training, a lot of communications, a lot of resources. We try to get our PTAs to talk to each other. We do a lot of answering phone calls and emails. And the last one, I was kind of joking when I put that on, but kind of not, too, because a lot of what we do is just be a sympathetic ear when people are like, I've got this board member, and they're not coming to the board meetings, and I don't know what to do, and I sent them an email, and now they're mad at me, and what should I do? And so that's kind of a lot of what we do, is just whatever we can figure out to help our PTAs. So and the goal there, so that they can fulfill their mission, and they can do what they all joined PTA to do, which was to enrich their school and their child's experience. One of the things that we're doing this year to help our PTAs that I'm really excited about, which just shows you what a huge PTA nerd I am, we are working on this grant handbook, and I have to say thank you to Dr. Pierce because she's been helping us with this grant handbook. PTAs each year, our PTAs in our school district donate about $1 million back to our schools. And it's tricky figuring out what is the best way to actually, just the logistics of granting this money, and I have a little example of how not to do it, and that would be the money in the suitcase. So Dr. Pierce and I have been working on just a handbook to tell people, like, here's some good ways to do it. And it's been really great, and actually a lot of people are really excited about it, which tells you just how nerdy some of my PTA colleagues are as well. So that's something that we're providing this year. The other piece of our mission is running programs for the community at large. And I will not read through that list, but I'll just go through my slides. This year, it's kind of new-ish this year because we've had resource fairs in the past, but not last year. We are doing this great big resource fair at Lake Washington Tech. If you've never been there, it's in Kirkland. They have all these great, post-high school programs. We're going to have speakers. There's going to be all these hands-on activities, virtual reality helmet things, and robots. And there's going to be all kinds of people from the community, vendors and businesses. And it's going to be a great time. It's from 11 to 2 on March 18th. And there's going to be food trucks, too. So check that out. Another big thing that PTA does that kind of gets... People kind of forget about this sometimes because it's not quite as fun as like the international night or the after-school activities. But PTA is the largest grassroots advocacy program for children in the United States. And this is how PTA got started, was advocacy for children. And our council, we have a wonderful VP of advocacy, and she is so passionate. And one of our big goals, or one of our things that we do is educate our parents how to advocate at their schools, and also how to advocate in Olympia. And this is a big part of PTA, and it's one that a lot of people don't really understand about, but maybe now more than ever with McCleary and with just learning how to advocate is, I think, becoming an important part of our life now. Parent education, we provide a lot of ways for parents to get educated. We have parent ed programs all throughout the year, and I'll just give a shout out to the district because they actually provide us with a lot of funding for parent education, which allows us to get speakers of a higher caliber than we could afford on our own. So thank you to them for that. And these are just a couple examples of some parent education programs. We have brown bag lunches. These are monthly brown bags. We have speakers on legislative issues, on things going on in the district. I'm sorry, I don't have my notes, so I'm desperately trying to remember. These are open to the community, as are the parent education. We have a special needs resource group for parents. They have monthly meetings, and these are for parents with kids with special needs, all kinds of resources for these parents. Another program we run is emergency preparedness. You might not know this, but at your schools, it is the PTAs that purchase the emergency prep supplies for your students. So we have a committee that helps all of the different PTAs figure out how to run their emergency prep programs at their schools. We have a scholarship program for graduating seniors. This year we've revamped it a little bit, and we're hoping to widen the type of student who can win a scholarship. So we're excited to broaden it so it's not the same type of kid who wins a scholarship. We have a new scholarship called a turnaround scholarship for a student who did not do so well, maybe their freshman and sophomore year, but kind of got their act together, but maybe their GPA isn't that great, so we have a special category for that student. And we have a perseverance scholarship for a student who has had to overcome some kind of difficult situation. And again, maybe their GPA doesn't allow them to compete with the other merit scholars. We have staff scholarships as well. And thank you to everybody who participated in our big annual basket auction, because that's how we pay for these scholarships. And the district is really, all of you guys spend a lot of money at our auction, so we totally appreciate that. Every year we have a big Founders Day luncheon for our PTA officers, for our principals, for district administrators. We have all kinds of, PTA luminaries will be there this year. It's just a way to celebrate the founding of PTA and the women who started PTA 120 years ago, and just to celebrate what we do. And that's actually coming up next week. And then finally, one of our biggest community-wide programs is Reflections. And this is a huge program, and I know a lot of you are here because you're Reflections participants. We had over 500 pieces of artwork were submitted to council, and it's a huge endeavor. It's so wonderful. These pictures were from our open house that we had in January. The one on the top right, that was after the power went out, and people were looking at the artwork with their phones. So that's it. So thank you very much.
So while you're bringing up the second deck, the PTSA open house that you had on the March 18th, did I get those numbers right? The open house is coming up on March 8th, 11 to 2. Resource Fair, yeah. And where was that?
It's at Lake Washington Institute of Technology in Kirkland.
Okay, at Lake Washington Institute of Technology.
We're really excited about it because they are partnering with us, and they're donating this great space for us and auditoriums for speakers. One of our speakers is going to be Aaron Jones, who just ran for the state superintendent position.
Is this the same thing that a couple years ago was held in the old Redmond Schoolhouse?
Is, but this is going to be
now I know exactly what we're talking
more
about.
fabulous.
Yeah, no, it's certainly going to have more fabulous space to work in, but
Yes, it's
that was
definitely
really
more
worth.
fabulous space,
And just from that first one, I wanted to say thank you. Particularly that one, I ran into the PTSA special needs group, and they were helping us in ways we didn't even know they were helping us. So thank you.
Good, I'm so glad to hear that.
Okay.
My name is Pam Hay, and this is my first year as Council Reflections Chair, but I've been doing reflections at the school level, elementary, middle school, and high school. I think it's a great program because it allows students who enjoy and participate in the arts to create something for a competition. And I am amazed every year when given a question like, what is your story, which is the theme this year, or a statement like beauty is, what kids think about, what becomes the subject of the art. It is just, it's just amazing. So we had 31 out of 48 schools participate, so this is very good participation, very similar to last year. At the school level, they may get 8 entries up to 80. They send the very best to council, so we received 528 entries, which we then had judged, and I'm pleased to announce that 83 of those went on to the state level of the competition, which is happening right now. And as Liz said, we had a well-attended open house, but unfortunately got cut off in the middle due to a power outage. I don't do this alone. I have a co-chair, and also I have a lot of help from the Lake Washington PTSA Council, as well as current and past chairs. And I want to thank our judges who lend their time and talent during a very busy time of year. This happens in December to judge our entries. We have 4 presentations. Unfortunately, our last one, Jillian, is sick, but I will still read her entry tonight. But we will start with Vismaya, if she'd like to come up.
Hi everyone, my name is Vismaya and I'm in 5th grade at Rosa Parks Elementary. And I made a stop motion animation film for my Reflections project this year. And the theme was, what is your story? And my artist statement was, every character has a different story. One character has a happy story and one character has a sad story. The character with the happy story helps the character with the sad story, and at the end, both characters have happy stories.
All right, we'll show her film. We'll have Rebecca come up.
My name is Rebecca Vinokourov. I'm 3rd grade, and I go to Carl Samuel Elementary School. My story is, my name is Rebecca Vinokourov. I did gymnastics for 4 years. I compete in level 5. I love doing it as a sport. I choose to do the club routine as my favorite now. Gymnastics is what brings me joy and happiness. Also, it is a hard sport and it is a challenge for me.
All right. Oops. I think I just, oops. Well, trying to play it. Oh. How do I have to do that? Oh, here it is. Sorry. There we go. I have to get my mouse further down.
Yes? Go.
And now we'll have Sahana come up and play the piano.
Hi, my name is Sahana, and I'm in 8th grade at Evergreen Middle School. My piece that I composed was called Here for Eternity. My artist statement was, each and every one of us is unique, but all of our life stories are alike in a couple of ways. For example, as we grow older, all of our lives tend to get more and more complicated and pick up speed, like a hurricane. As it does, sometimes we forget important people in our lives. However, if they truly love and believe in us, then they will always stay right there with us along this road that is life. Sometimes the path twists and we forget where we are, but true friends and loved ones will always help you come back to the path and stay by your side. My music captures this valuable life lesson. My piece starts out simple. 1 note, then 2, then 3, then a broken chord. However, as the song progresses, the original pattern of background chords never changes. You can always hear the same 4 chords. The melody gets more and more complicated, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of, but the background chords will always help me find the melody again.
So I'm going to read Jillian Jackson's piece. Her artist statement, "Playing too much dress-up, is a reflection on how one's identity is really an amalgamation of all the versions of ourselves we create for others. Our story, or in this case mine, is based specifically on who we who we decide we are, or to make it an analogy, as we dress up as." Who we dress up as. I've not always found Halloween so odd as I do now. 5-year-old me never missed the opportunity to peel off my identity from the corners and attach somebody else's for the hour. I grew out of my princess gowns, but I'm still playing pretend. In fact, every year I dress up as whoever everybody has decided I am. In the 5th grade, against better judgment, I trick-or-treated as Miss Wears, an expensive leather jacket. I thought it would pay me back. In popularity, the currency of the preteen, but it became all the poorer. It collected dust in my closet in November, a constant reminder that I could not throw who I was into a dirty hamper and just decide to be somebody I would be proud of. In 7th grade, I laced up blue suede Oxfords and thick framed glasses and doubled as my quiet surrendering that, yes, I am the nerd. The glasses slid off the edge of my nose and cracked the core of me, glass littering the linoleum. Along with my childhood idealism, I can be anything I want and still see myself clearly. In 8th grade, I shimmied into everybody else's spandex expectations. They eventually shrunk in the dryer. You can never actually like you, and the inevitable rent cycle. She's laughing at you, not with you. I had decided to wear so many masks at once that they had no idea who I was. Not that I blame them, neither did I. In 9th grade, I donned a diagnosis. The thin, transparent camisole draped itself haphazardly over narrow shoulders, forever weighed me down by the cinder block of Ms. Not Normal. I tried to remove the cinder block, but when I peeled off the camisole, skin came away too. The ugly, imperfect contortions of my ribs jutted out of body, and I was reminded why Halloween is supposed to be scary. Don't you love Halloween? They are so taken with it, the notion that they can become somebody else. Who are you going to be this year? They say it is like buying a costume at the party store actually amalgamates your true self with something else. I do that every day, but not at the party store. This year, I just decided to go as Princess, the girl who wears an expensive leather jacket, queen of all the nerds. Ms. won't meet their expectation, Ms. Not Normal. Who are you supposed to be anyway? Somebody gawks, a girl playing too much dress up. I reply.
Thank you so much, PTSA Council, for inspiring so many budding young artists. And thank you especially to Vismaya, Rebecca, Sahana, and Jillian for sharing your art with us. Now go home and do some homework. Okay, so now we are on to the next item on our agenda, which is recognition of our National Board Certified
Means that you
Teachers.
don't have to stay.
Oh, yes.
You can go home. But we really appreciate you coming.
And thank you for letting us know that arts are still alive in our school.
So,
Not
Tracy?
that you could stay, but
It's going to be loud.
most people don't want to.
Great. Thank you. Yes, thank you again to all our wonderful students and families for being here tonight. It was awesome. We also have some awesome teachers here tonight, and we're really proud every year to spend some time recognizing our National Board Certified Teachers. It's National Board Certification. I'm sure Stephen will talk a bit about it, but it is the highest level of professional certification that a teacher can earn, and we're just so proud of our teachers here in Lake Washington. I'd like to introduce Stephen Bryant, Director of Professional Learning, and he's here tonight to tell us a little bit about National Board Certification and the work that his team does to support teachers in the process, and then recognize the teachers that are with us here tonight.
Great, thank you. I'd like to thank our school board and the superintendent for this opportunity to honor this year's National Board Certified Teachers. The National Board for Professional Teaching is an independent, nonprofit, nonpartisan, and non-governmental organization that was founded in 1987 to advance the quality of teaching and learning by developing professional standards for accomplished teaching, by creating a voluntary system to certify teachers who meet those standards, and by integrating certified teachers into educational reform efforts. Professional educators can earn national board certification in 25 subject areas. This year, 2 teachers in the Lake Washington School District achieved national board certification and 13 teachers recertified. After many years of large numbers of Lake Washington District teachers certifying, you may ask, how come so few newly certified teachers this year? Well, the answer is that the National Boards of Certifications process has undergone a multi-year restructuring of their process. This school year, they have finalized the new process, and next school year, we will be presenting to you an extra large cohort of newly certified teachers. In the meantime, the teachers we are recognizing today are part of over 6,000 nationally board certified teachers within Washington State. Lake Washington School District ranks 4th within Washington State for our total number of national board certified teachers. And there are over 100,000 distinguished teachers across the nation that have certified since 1987. Teachers earn this prestigious credentials through a rigorous assessment that generally takes a year or more to complete. It requires teachers to demonstrate their work improves student achievement. As part of the process, teachers build a portfolio that includes student work samples, assignments, videotapes, and a thorough analysis of their classroom teaching. Additionally, teachers are assessed on their knowledge of the subjects they teach. This is considered the highest professional certification a teacher can attain. As you would expect, we are very proud of our National Board Certified teachers and are pleased with the opportunity to recognize them this evening. At this point, I'm going to read the names of our 2 newly certified teachers and our 13 recertified teachers. They're invited, those that are in attendance, to come forward and receive district recognition for their work. And we're going to ask them to stay and remain up front so that we can take a group photo. So here we go with the names. So these are newly certified teachers, meaning that this is their first time through the process. Carlin Dowling and Casey Morrison. These are teachers who've recertified, meaning at least their second time, maybe even third time through. Cynthia Cantwell, Mark Clausen. Come on up, Mark.
Sorry, I've never done this before. Except 10 years ago.
Just come stand right over there.
Oh, thank you.
Kristen Doherty, Kathleen Fleming, David Freeman.
It was the snow days.
Carolyn Henrik. Yes, I should have mentioned that. We were scheduled for last week, but none of us were here. Linda Kraft. Meg Lewis. Jody Louise. Bud Peterson. Jerry Romano. Greg Shelton. Brian Wickrent. And that is all of them.
Stephen, after the photo, could we give the microphone and just have each person tell us where they teach and what their certification is?
If you really need the moral support, we're there for you.
Yeah.
Why don't we get this video real quick? All right. Are you already here? Counting things that no. Okay. Are you guys ready? You're making this really fun, aren't you? Okay. Are we ready? All right. Get a couple of yeah, we'll get a couple because the lighting is a little bit interesting here. You know it's our bedtime, right? I do. No, that one's good.
Okay, and you can't leave quite yet because the board and superintendent would like to hear where you teach and what you certified in. Great.
So I teach at Rachel Carson Elementary, and I'm certified as an early childhood generalist, although I teach in intermediate 4-5 multi-age.
I'm Mark Clausen, and I'm certified in, I don't know, science, I would say. Yeah, and I think that's what my, well, the problem is I did it first time in high school, and now I'm in middle school, so I still actually go all the way now from 8th grade, halfway through 8th grade, all the way through senior high still. And I teach at Finn Hill Middle School.
My name's Meg Lewis, and I am a teacher at Juanita High School, and I am certified in mathematics. So thank you very much.
Well, yes, thank you so much. This is actually a very exciting thing, and we appreciate that the snow day last week did disrupt attendance. In the meantime, we're aware that it's midnight teacher time, so I'm about to do a lot of whereasing, and you're welcome to slink out the back.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh gosh, you're right. A lot of whereas.
Okay, so, wait a minute. First we have public comment, right? No. Okay, first I whereas. Okay. Okay, we have a couple of proclamations for the public. First, we have a proclamation in respect to Career and Technical Education Month. Whereas Career and Technical Education offers students the opportunity to gain the academic, technical, and employability skills necessary for true career readiness. And whereas students in career and technical education programs participate in authentic, meaningful experiences that improve the quality of their education and increase student engagement and achievement. And whereas career and technical education provides students with career exploration opportunities earlier in their educational experience, which enables them to make informed and beneficial decisions about their academic coursework, as well as pursuit of established programs of study and career pathways. And whereas leaders from business and industry nationwide report increasing challenges related to the skills gap in connecting qualified professionals with available careers in critical and growing CTE-related fields, including healthcare, energy, advanced manufacturing, and information technology. And whereas career and technical education prepares students for these and other fulfilling careers by offering integrated programs of study that link secondary and post-secondary education and lead to the attainment of industry-recognized credentials. And whereas ensuring that employers have access to a qualified workforce is a crucial step in ensuring productivity among the business and industry communities, as well as continued American economic growth and global competitiveness. And whereas Lake Washington School District has approximately 6,287 students, participating in 115 different career and technical education course options taught by 75 career and technical education teachers. Therefore, the Board of Directors do hereby proclaim February 1st through 28th, 2017 as Career and Technical Education Month. Thank you. Okay. Now, next proclamation. Whereas Lake Washington School District's 71 school counselors help students reach their full potential, and whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development, and whereas school counselors help parents focus on ways to further the educational, personal, and social growth of their children, and whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves, and whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society, and whereas comprehensive developmental school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in school. Therefore, the Board of Directors do hereby proclaim February 6th through February 10th, 2017, last week, as National School Counseling Week in Lake Washington School District. Thank you. And one more. A proclamation of the Board of Directors of the Lake Washington School District, number 414, King County, Washington, supporting Lake Washington School District in providing an equitable and inclusive environment for all students. Whereas Lake Washington's mission is each student will graduate prepared to lead a rewarding, responsible life as a contributing member of our community and greater society. And whereas Lake Washington schools are established to educate students in a way that gives the best promise for full realization of their individual potential as stated in district policy. And whereas recognizing and valuing that we are a diverse community and it is part of Lake Washington's mission to provide a positive, harmonious environment in which diversity is respected and encouraged as stated in district policy. And whereas Lake Washington recognizes its responsibility to provide a safe and civil educational environment that is free from all types of discrimination and harassment, bullying, and intimidation as stated in district policy. And whereas the Lake Washington School District's Board of Directors is committed to supporting the enhancement and development of equitable systems for students and families that close achievement and opportunity gaps for students. Now, therefore, we, the Lake Washington School District Board of Directors, proclaim Lake Washington's ongoing commitment to ensure equitable and inclusive environments that emphasize a core value of mutual human respect for all people, regardless of individual differences or characteristics. Thank you.
Just want to thank the board for those formal proclamations because they mean a lot to our staff who work in those programs. You know, National School Counseling Week, the theme this year is helping students realize their potential. And so it made me think about our career and technical education programs and how many students we're reaching through those programs and the teachers who work in those programs and our counselors, of course. And tonight you're going to hear a little bit more about our counseling program in one of our program reports. And then, of course, the proclamation about equitable, inclusive environments that apply to all students and how that helps with students realizing their full potential. So thank you for the proclamations tonight.
Yes, so fortunately, that's the last of our whereases for the evening, but I echo that. The CTE programs have some very exciting programs going. The school counselors are invaluable, and finally, this inclusive environment is reiterating what is in policy because we believe in it. So, thank you. All right, so that brings us to public comment, and I don't have we have no sign-ins. Okay, so on a monthly basis, the board does offer the opportunity for public comment, for the public to come and address the board. I won't go into the full spiel this evening because we don't have any, unless there is anybody in the audience who didn't know how to sign up and would like to address the board. Okay, hearing none. We do allow that. We also encourage the public to get in touch with us via email. That is the most reliable way to make sure that your words don't get garbled in translation. With that, I guess we're on to, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Oh, wait, we already did approve the consent agenda.
No.
Right? No? Oh, shoot. Okay.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second. Got it.
Could I ask a question,
Yes,
though? And I
absolutely.
apologize, I'm sort of out of turn in asking
Oh,
this.
I should.
I'd like to have the advanced placement exam fees just pulled off so we can just talk about that. And I apologize for not having, I was just reading through right now. I know that should have come earlier, and I apologize.
I'll amend it and move approval of the consent agenda without the AP exam fees.
I will second the amended motion.
Okay, I will, as moved by Nancy Bernard, as seconded by Eric LaLiberty, and simultaneously Mark Stewart, which gives us a majority. So I guess we do still have to. Tracy, will you please poll the board?
Yes. Nancy?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Siri?
Yes.
Okay. So, as per usual, Tracy, will you please review the donations to the district?
Yes, I'm happy to. If you turn to tab 6, we have a number of very generous donations this evening, totaling $12,225. We have a $3,100 donation from Juanita Elementary School PTSA to Juanita Elementary to support field trips. a $5,500 donation from Redmond Elementary PTSA to Redmond Elementary, also to support field trips, and a $3,625 donation from Inglewood Middle School PTSA to Inglewood Middle to support extracurricular activities. So all total, $12,225 in very generous donations from our PTSAs to our schools tonight.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. And again, thank you to our community. Reviewing those is always a pleasure, and it's lovely to continue the level of support that we get from the community. There are a lot of things that wouldn't happen without these donations. With that, I guess we're on to the...
No, you'll have to do the AP.
We do the AP before?
We'll do that first.
Okay, so we'll talk briefly about the AP exam fees. Tracy? Or actually, Siri, do you have a...
Well, I'll move approval to get it on the agenda.
Oh, sorry. I haven't quite got this Robert's Rules of Order down, but I like that. I second, I assume, Siri?
Sure, I'll second.
Okay. Moved by Nancy, approved by Siri. All in favor? Oh,
no,
first we approve.
Now discussion.
Okay. Discuss away. There we go.
I was just curious, as reading through this is a slight increase of our AP fees, if I'm correct in reading through what it's looking at, and it's in alignment with our neighboring districts. The piece where I'm still would be concerned here is actually our access of our students who aren't of financial resources, and ensuring that that is still accessible in the AP, and I'm not clear here. We mentioned that we keep the test fee the same. I'm not sure what that test fee is. I know of districts that actually pay for all their test fees, and we had talked about this at another meeting. As we look at equity, especially in regards to our AP testing, that's another area where we need to work with the disaggregation. So I guess those are sort of my questions when I looked at this fees. I want to know how that was incorporated and thought about, and will we be looking at some point how we truly look at an equitable approach with these additional fees that occur, because AP tests are incredibly expensive. You have SAT fees at the same time, ACT fees, and these are all limitations for families.
I emailed Tracy, and but only copied Chris, since we don't do board discussion by email, because I had the same question. And our fee for free and reduce is $12, and waivers are handled at the individual school level. And Dr. Pierce said she believes schools provide scholarships for students who need the fee waived entirely.
So my question would be, is that based on being eligible for free and reduced lunch? What is the criteria that we utilize?
That's correct. It's the students who, so that's the test fee in the situation recommendation, that the test fee that remains the same for students who are eligible for free reduced lunch. Yeah.
The one piece I'd like us to start considering and thinking about is our area has a very high cost of living. So these additional cost fees, a free and reduced lunch, a reduced lunch is 185% of federal poverty level, which actually in our area you need about at least 350% of the federal poverty in which to be able to meet your basic needs. Sometimes I think by utilizing the federal standards, we're not taking into account our local, and we might need to think about there could be families who do have that need who don't use free and reduced lunch. So we might need to be thinking in a broader sense of how we address those things.
Good feedback. Mm-hmm. Good feedback.
I recognize $12 does not seem as much, but it can be impactful over time.
Okay, I don't know that we need to take a vote after this. This is just useful
No,
discussion.
we do.
So we still have to
We
approve
have to
it.
vote.
Oh, we do have to approve that piece. Okay.
She's bringing up an issue for future
right. So,
consideration,
exactly. So it's,
not
you're
for
asking for
today.
future stuff, but we still have to approve the
Yeah,
statement that's on page 6.
ideally, I would
right.
prefer that this already addresses that.
Yeah.
I recognize that this has to get done and move on as well. At the same time, then, I still think it's something we could pursue in the meantime, even with this in place.
Yes. Okay.
Similar to the world language when we were dealing with that component.
Right.
So restating that, within the framework of the existing statement, the clarification from Tracy being that we already do have individual level full waiver available at schools' discretion, but that for the moment that $12 fee is sort of applied as a blanket on free and reduced lunch. The request for future agenda is to look into.
To look at it.
Yeah.
And also from
I
a
think that's
value
fair.
statement,
Yeah.
if our goal is to ensure people have access and we know that taking a college level course gives you, and that's opportunity for credit,
yeah.
I guess we should be valuing that as a district, and part of that is budgeting for it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I guess that's the component.
So, yeah, sorry, just so I understand, are you suggesting that we increase the, well, I don't want to mischaracterize your words, but I will characterize them. Are you suggesting that we increase the threshold that reduction would apply to? Are you also or are you suggesting that we make it free for students and reduce the price?
That would be what to look at. I do know of districts that have done that they pay for it directly. It might be similar to our world language where we do the first one. There is a piece of having some investment in it too, I also recognize. I just think we need to look at this in regards to an equity component and really think about it from that lens.
This could be an opportunity for something to partner with for the foundation as well. I know they're looking for long-term, impactful things that they can partner with the district on. It seems like it could be one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay.
Thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Siri and Nancy. I had forgotten about that.
Just call for the vote.
So, all those in favor of approving the resolution? Say aye.
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 Any against? Nope. Motion carries. Okay. Which puts us back on schedule for tonight's.
Great. We have a program report tonight, and I'm going to ask for some help from John Holman to help me click through some slides. The program report is on STEM, and then if it's all right with all of you, after a chance to answer any questions and so forth, I can go right into superintendent report on student services. So we really have two short reports, about 10 minutes each. Matt Montebianco, who serves in our chief academic officer role, and Mike Van Orden, who was in the study session tonight, really worked with us on developing the program report for STEM tonight. Matt's not, so I will go ahead and take the lead on presenting that, and John will help me click, and then John and I will co-present on the student services superintendent report. So it's actually in the current, it's like everything's posted. It's on the current board, just on the public portal. Excuse us while we just find the presentation and get it pulled up.
Where's it? It's board meetings.
A little music. Okay, it looks like it is coming up here. Okay, so again, tonight we're focusing on STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And these program reports give us an opportunity, go ahead, John, to do a little more connecting between our end results and our executive limitations. So it also gives us an opportunity to pull out a little more information in terms of what we're doing when it comes to things like literacy and language, mathematical and scientific reasoning, etc. So the EL connection tonight is with our academic program, and the end result connection is really with mathematical and scientific reasoning, information communication technology, and career planning and life management, as well as those interdisciplinary skills and attributes in terms of critical creative thinking, problem solving, and making connections across disciplines. So with that, we'll start with what is STEM? How do we here in Lake Washington define STEM? We did develop a definition as we began planning for our STEM-focused high school and our STEM signature programs in all of our other high schools. And we worked collaboratively with building administrators and developed a working definition, because STEM is not just the discrete content areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. As we view it, it is something more. And so we believe that STEM teaching and learning results in the construction of knowledge and the solving of complex real-world problems as students pursue connections and interdependencies. So it's really about making those connections between science, technology, and among science, technology, engineering, and math, they develop the interdisciplinary skills and attributes needed to solve complex real-world problems. We believe STEM learning fosters collaboration and partnership among teachers, students, and industry professionals with the purpose of building a better future. That's Lake Washington's definition of STEM. And we further called out what we believe STEM teaching and learning calls for. We believe it calls for the exploration of STEM and STEM-related professions related to student interest, calls for equitable access for all students, development of foundational skills and knowledge within and across STEM disciplines, and public presentation of one's work. So tonight we want to give you an update in terms of what are we doing, what are our STEM efforts at the elementary, middle, and high school, and where are we continuing to grow and build our capacity for STEM learning. So at the elementary level, we obviously have weekly time focused on science and mathematics, and we have core materials in science and mathematics, and we have supporting resources in the form of curriculum alignment guides, proficiency scales, summative assessments, and technology tools that can be used to leverage STEM learning, such as our mobile devices, a technology skills continuum, which really specifies what technology skills we want students to learn at each level. Although we don't, again, it's not viewing this as discrete. We'll do another program presentation on just on our information technology focus. This is really how are we using those technology tools to help leverage STEM learning. So there's a picture here before you click forward of a science and engineering lesson at Sandburg, and you can see that students are building, they're applying learning in that picture. So there's some real strengthened connections, though, if you go to the next slide, in terms of calling STEM out in our K-5 math and science. So as you know, we're going to begin a K-5 science adoption next year, and new science curriculum that is out there is really highlighting and including STEM-focused lessons and units, so it's building those STEM connections, strengthening them in the existing science curriculum as well as in the math curriculum. We also, at the K-5 level, as you know, are seeding a new STEM-focused elementary choice program at Meade Elementary, and that's beginning next year. Also at the elementary level, really with the support of our PTSA, so it's great that they're here tonight, we're able to offer many before and after school programs through a partnership with PTSA that allow for STEM enrichment. We've got 93% of our elementary schools offering STEM-related clubs and programs such as green teams, math and science clubs, coding, game design, robotics, Lego engineering. That's just a sampling of the kind of enrichment programs that are available. We also have schools participating in the district-wide, we promote the Hour of Code, the Green Schools program, and also STEM Family Nights. And I should say I just want to give a special recognition call out to Muir Elementary, because I was able to attend one of their family STEM nights in conjunction with their natural leaders 2 weeks ago. And tonight, actually, I was supposed to be at Einstein Elementary's family STEM night. However, with the rescheduled board meeting, I was not able to attend. But there is great STEM things happening as we speak tonight at Einstein Elementary. At the middle school level, again, of course, we're teaching math and science, and there are STEM connections there, which we'll show you in just a moment. And there's also elective STEM courses, as well as the same sort of supporting resources in terms of alignment guides and our technology devices and tools. There's a great picture here of a biomedical technology program learning here at Environmental Adventure School. Just like at the elementary level, the STEM is being called out more. Now, as you know, we adopted new science curriculum last year, so this might ring a bell because you remember Mike and his team were here the night they were presenting the new curriculum. And here's just a great example of how STEM is being highlighted in the middle school science curriculum. And you can see to the right, it's saying brainstorm solutions. So it's really looking at real-world issues and problems and asking students to think about solving those problems. So it's problem-based learning. That STEM connection is also being called out in the middle school math curriculum. So here's an example of a unit project on community design and asking students to follow some critical thinking steps, problem-solving steps, to test, analyze, and optimize their sketches and prototypes, their designs. So it's applying those STEM concepts in math. We've got a plethora of middle school STEM electives. I won't read all of these to you. This is just a sampling of the kinds of STEM-focused electives that are available to students at the middle level. And so shifting to the high school, very similar. We've got our math and science and technology courses. We also, as you know, have STEM-focused courses and programs, what we call signature courses and programs. A program is what considered a three-period program. We also have individual STEM-focused courses that have industry partnerships, and I'll talk a little bit about those more in just a moment. We also have many career and technical education STEM offerings, as well as courses available to students at our WANIC Skills Center, and then many AP offerings, and I've got a slide and a couple of slides to highlight some of those. We've got the core materials in math and science and the same kind of supporting resources that we do at our other levels. Here's just an example of how, again, in the science curriculum for high school, this is the physical science curriculum, they're making those STEM connections and those real-world application problems really available to students. So this is focusing on how to learn and apply the engineering design process and investigating those ideas in an authentic context. Similar in biology, here's just an example of some of the real-world laboratory technology that is virtually available to students. And so because we have those devices available to students and the curriculum resources that we've adopted, there's many more hands-on kind of virtual investigations. If you might remember hearing Mike talk about those during the adoption process last year, but it's really able to enhance the learning for students in many ways. Here's that slide that just lists many of our STEM electives. So again, I'm not going to read all of these to you, but you can see there's great variety available to students. I do want to highlight just some of those WANIC Skills Center programs. So students can actually take DigiPen courses in art and animation, music, engineering, sound design, robotics, and future technologies and video game programming through WANIC, as well as courses in health sciences careers, medical careers, and fire and EMS. And the great thing about some of these offerings is the connection between what students can take in high school and then potentially move into that pathway right at Lake Washington Tech, which the WANIC main campus is on the campus of Lake Washington Tech. I mentioned the STEM signature courses and programs. So when we developed that definition of STEM, again, I mentioned that was when we were planning for the STEM-focused high school, which is now Tesla STEM, and the high school STEM signature programs. So this tells you what we currently have in place at each of our high schools. All of these programs fit our definition of what is STEM in terms of a problem-based learning focus, connection with industry partners. For example, the Sammamish Startups program at Eastlake High School, the partnership is with Evergreen Health. We've got partnership with, for example, if you look at all of the offerings at Tesla STEM, they're working with, it's not called Genie anymore, and now I'm blank. Terex. Thank you, Terex. And very good, thank you, Mark. As well as waste management and other industry partners. So there's externship available and provided through these programs, which really involves the industry partners coming in to help develop the learning opportunities for students, and the students get to actually help solve real-world problems that those industry professionals are working to solve. So a little bit about how our students are performing in STEM. We don't have, a STEM state assessment. However, we do have AP data and STEM-related courses. So Tim Krieger was able to help us put together some data that shows our AP exam pass rates. The blue line is our 2014 pass rate, the orange is the 2015, and the green is 2016, sort of by STEM-related course. So again, I won't read you all those courses, but you can see the names of the courses down the left, and we've got students achieving at high levels on these AP exams. The next slide gives a comparison between our 2016 STEM AP exam pass rates compared with Washington State and national. So the blue line is Lake Washington, the green line is Washington State, the yellow line is national. So you can see there's that our students are outperforming the state and national levels, and in some areas very significantly outperforming those state and national levels. We're proud of what we're doing in STEM, and we still are continuing to build and strengthen STEM in our district, and so we just wanted to highlight some of the partnerships we have. We're a member of the Washington Alliance for Better Schools, and one of the big focus areas for that group is STEM. We've got teachers who participate through that partnership with WOBS, is what we call it for short, STEM summer externships, and so they are out in places like Boeing and Farmer Frog and a number of other areas, really working alongside industry partners for a significant chunk of time in the summer, and then working to develop lessons that they can bring back to their classroom for students in the fall. Natural Leaders is a program that is it's a partnership that we have to bring traditionally underserved, underrepresented parents into a partnership with the school. We've got Latino parents, especially at Muir Elementary, at Rose Hill Elementary, who are serving as natural leaders and acting sort of as that leader and liaison to that community. And they've been sponsoring some of the elementary STEM nights. And actually, I have to just recognize some of the awesome natural leaders from Muir Elementary who not only are sponsoring this series of STEM nights, bringing in Boeing engineers. Families get to work on a project alongside their child. When I was there a couple of weeks ago, they were building airplanes and testing flying those airplanes. They either had to be powered by a balloon or a coil or something else. Now I can't remember, but so the engineers are there providing hands-on help. And these ladies were not only doing this work for our families at Muir, they were also out then training other parents in other districts to be natural leaders and do this kind of work. So it's really amazing, and they deserve some recognition. I won't read you the rest of these because I know I'm going a little over time, but you can see we have a number of other partnerships. Institute for Systems Biology has provided training for our teachers, problem-based learning training. We're continuing to focus there and see how we can train more teachers on problem-based learning. We're working with Puget Sound ESD and the University of Washington through the Ambitious Science Teaching Project. So lots of great partnerships there, not to mention the industry partners as well. So still lots of work to do, but we're proud of what we're doing. The end. No. So that's it for the STEM presentation tonight. Any questions?
And thank you for giving the good overview, and sort of follows up from when we did a work session looking at the different STEM opportunities. I did have a few questions in the sense of what is sort of as I looked at the high school, that was the only one, numbers of students being served in each of those wasn't clear. And so I did have a question around that, especially since our comprehensives have 1,800 students. Sort of looking at what's the expanse of who's being reached.
And the signature programs or the electives or both? all of it?
The above.
Okay.
The question, what my curious is, what's the goal or the target, or what's the thought of where we're going in the sense of access? Because that's what this sounds like. And, is it that every student has the opportunity to be exposed? There's a lot around CTE and externships and that capacity. And we do a very solid job at Tesla STEM in part of that. And will we be looking at getting that into the comprehensives? Is that a component that we're looking at? So it's sort of trying to get to the opportunities available within our comprehensive high schools to be broad enough that enough students then have access to a problem-based learning capacity and that hands-on applied component.
Great. I can follow up on
Okay.
data. Yeah.
That was a long sentence for that question. Sorry.
Any other? All right. On to John.
Okay, we'll move right along here. So for superintendent's report tonight, we want to focus on student services. We thought this, while it was on our schedule, it's also timely given National School Counseling Week. So student services, what is student services? Well, it's a department that is part of the division of student and school support services. And student services focuses on providing programs and services that support student academic success, safety, and social emotional well-being. So specifically, we have a director of student services, that's Matt Gillingham. And in that department, there's a number of programs and services that Matt leads and oversees. Our K-12 counseling program, or our K-12 counseling continuum of services, which is really what we're going to focus on tonight. So specifically, the social emotional support structures that we have in place for students, our work around suicide prevention, and our work around drug and alcohol prevention and intervention. So that's really going to be the focus of the presentation tonight. However, there's additional parts to student services that Matt oversees. Some of that you'll see in future program reports. Some of that you heard in past program reports, such as activities and athletics. So moving right along, we're going to get into K-12 counseling services. And the role of the counselor is one that's actually specified in our CW. And so this is right out of RCW, and it says the purpose and role of the school counselor is to plan, organize, and deliver a comprehensive school guidance and counseling program that personalizes education and supports, promotes, and enhances the academic, personal, social, and career development of all students, and is based on the national standards for school counseling programs of the American School Counselor Association. So what does that mean in our district, and what does that look like? Well, we base our counseling program on the ASCA national model. ASCA stands for American School Counselors Association. And we really like what it says, because it says that school counseling programs are collaborative efforts benefiting students, parents, teachers, administrators, and the overall community. And the school counseling program should be an integral part of students' daily education environment, and school counselors should be partners in student achievement. So that's our view of what the counseling program is. It's based on the national model. There are ASCA standards, which we're not going to get into tonight, that really specify what the counselor should be doing and how much time should be spent doing what and that kind of thing. We wanted to give a little bit higher level of what happens at the elementary and secondary and how we serve students. What's our delivery model in terms of students, serving students. So at our elementary school level, we have, every school, as you know, does not have a full-time counselor, but our schools either have a full-time or half-time counselor depending on size. And the counselor really works in conjunction with teachers, staff, and parents to identify ways that we can help students learn. They serve as an advocate for the physical and emotional safety of students at school and home. And different from our secondary model, our counselors at the elementary actually provide instruction in the classroom. So they are the teacher who is teaching students the social emotional learning skills in the classroom that then students display and practice in all aspects of their school life, and teachers and instructional support staff reinforce those skills and expectations on the playground and in classrooms and so forth. At the second, and we'll talk a little bit more about our social emotional learning programs in just a moment, but at the secondary model, or at the secondary level, the service model is a little bit different. As you know, we've got sort of our guidance counselors. We also have college career ready counselors, and through our partnership with Evergreen Health, we also now have social workers. So all of those counselors focus on different yet connected areas in terms of, and there's a lot of overlap in terms of student services. We also have career counselors who work in our high school counseling centers, who I didn't mean to leave out, who are sort of part of this counseling service for students as well. So we do provide both academic and career guidance for students. Students often
I was trying to telegraph. We've got a hot mic in the middle, which I think is where we're getting the feedback.
Oh, okay, sorry. There's a microphone on, I think, that's making some feedback. Okay.
Hopefully it wasn't shockingly. Okay. I just meant hot in terms of live. Sorry, I did not mean to.
No, thank you. I'm sorry about that. There's also some special sort of cohorts of students, like our college-bound students, that counselors work to support, and they are really instrumental in not only providing social emotional support and mental health, but also in assisting with referrals to agencies. So we wanted to highlight a little bit of the social emotional supports and what we have in place and what we're working on with students. And John, if you want to, do you want to jump in at any point, or yes?
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't mean to just keep going. Why don't you take this part?
I would love to.
I'll
Thank
take
you.
a drink of water.
I think what's interesting about social emotional learning, it really is interrelated sets of competencies. It's hard to really not support both or all three, cognitive, affective, and behavioral, in isolation. And so it's really about how do we understand these things and teach our students behaviors so that those three areas are really working together in the support of a child's education. Another aspect about social emotional learning, Washington State is currently in the process of adopting benchmarks for K-12, which will then help us look at our program for our students as well.
Don't we have representation on that work group? Didn't you say? We don't? The one that John just mentioned?
We may. I'll have to check with Matt Gillingham and get back to you on that.
Okay, sorry. I thought we did.
Okay.
The way you said it, it sounded like we didn't.
Mm-hmm. Matt's involved in a lot of things, so I wouldn't doubt it. You've actually seen this slide before a couple years ago, but we just wanted to highlight that we do have curriculum and programs in place in our schools from elementary to high school that just help provide guidance around social emotional learning. I think those K-12 benchmarks will also help us analyze these different curriculums and programs to ensure that we're hitting all those different competencies. Tracy mentioned earlier the suicide prevention efforts. In 2013, the state legislature highlighted the importance of having plans in place to ensure that we are proactively preventing students from self-harm and making sure that our staff have the skills to recognize the warning signs when students are having those challenges and those struggles. And so we have gone through a process to adopt a suicide prevention plan. I think you've seen that before, but it's been in place now for about 2 school years. When we look back at our most recent Healthy Youth Survey data, you can see that we have students at all grade levels that are considering self-harm or suicide. students that have made a plan, and then students that are reporting that they've attempted suicide. And at any point when those numbers are above 0, that's too many students. And so continued training, continued support for our staff to identify the warning signs are of critical importance for our students. And so it's something we take very seriously, and we know our staff takes this very seriously as well. That first phase of recognition really was about staff training. That first bullet there was really providing a really in-depth level of training for a core group of individuals, counselors, nurses, psychologists, occupational and physical therapists, as well as some of our administrators participated in this training. And that really went deeply into understanding the prevention of suicide. Subsequently, we also partnered with the Puget Sound ESD to come in and provide training for our building administrators around youth mental health and first aid. So any of our administrators that weren't able to participate in that first level of training participated here. Again, it's about understanding the youth warning signs and how we respond when we see those warning signs. And then that last bullet was around the training that all staff received over the last 2 years, reminding them about the warning signs, ensuring that they have the information so that when a young person is in their supervision, that when they see concern, they know A, how to recognize it, and B, what to do about it. And that's that next step of screening and response. You can see a flow chart over on the right. I won't go step by step there, but that's an actual flow chart that our staff have available to them in font they can read. And it's the essence of this is when a staff member has a concern, we take that concern seriously, and we ensure that there's an assessment or a screening of risk. And depending on the severity of that risk, it's either a call to 911, it's ensuring that they have the mental health social worker supports that they need to get back on track, it's connecting with families, or it's ongoing monitoring. And so all of those are in place when we are made aware of a student that's in crisis or in danger of self-harm. And so we also want to talk about the partnerships that we've established to ensure that we're able to provide the risk assessments and ongoing support for students, I will say much quicker and in more depth than we ever have before. We transitioned to drug and alcohol prevention and intervention because these two issues are uniquely combined. Oftentimes, our students that are showing self-harm signs might also possibly have substance challenges. And so the social workers and individuals from YES that provide this support for us, we really try and have those counselors be duly certified so that they can address the drug alcohol concerns while also providing the social emotional support needed. And so we'll have our 2016 data. I guess I'm highlighting our last slide of the deck here. We'll have our 2016 data from our Healthy Youth Survey later this fall or later this spring. But we went back to our 2014 data to just get a general understanding of what are our students reporting about their access or considerations around substances. And when you think of risk and protective factors, these are the things that protective factor is something that's a positive, and a risk factor would be something that's still a challenge. That first bullet really would be protective factor, that the rates, that all grades report that the rates are higher than state average, that adults in their neighborhood think that youth drinking, smoking, and marijuana are very wrong. And so the adults in our students' lives are indicating that substance abuse is a negative for our students. The next bullet is also a protective factor, that there's a perception that using substances is of great harm. and that's positive that our students are recognizing it. That third bullet is really a risk factor, that the perceptions or disapproval, difficulty in obtaining, and risk of harm of alcohol, tobacco. Excuse me, I think that's also a positive. But that has also dropped considerably from 6th to 12th grade. And then I'll jump down to that last one. That's the one of probably greatest concern, that it's the perception around marijuana. It is that the risk has declined from previous surveys. And so that's something it'll be interesting to look at in our 2016 data. When we look at some of the other healthy use survey data broken out by middle school and high school, you can see at our middle school that we've seen a decline and actually the lowest level of reported substance use in 2014. In 2014, fewer students were using e-cigarettes or vaporizing than the state average. And I looked back at 2012 and 2010. I believe 2014 was the first time that data was reported around e-cigarettes. And so we didn't have comparison data for an increase or decrease. And our middle school students report less marijuana use than state average. At the high school level, you can see also a decline in substance abuse at grade 10. A decline in current substance use for cigarettes and alcohol in grade 12, and no change for marijuana in grade 12, which also kind of relates back to that decline in it being recognized as a risk. Lowest levels of reported current cigarette, alcohol, and prescription drug use in grades 10 and 12 in the past decade, and that fewer students are using e-cigarettes or vaporizing than state average, and that fewer students using marijuana than state average at the high school level. When we think about our kind of combined service model of mental health and drug alcohol supports, we think about universal level being for all students, selective for a smaller group of students, and indicative is really that kind of crisis prevention for individual students who have individual needs. And these are all of the different levels of service that we have for our students. Our school-based guidance counselors that we talked about a minute ago, they really are a key player in the early intervention and referral process. We also partner with Youth Eastside Services around chemical dependency and prevention interventionists. We have them at all of our comprehensive middle and high schools. Like I said before, the dual certified staff provide us with the flexibility to do more than just one type of assessment. They can do that drug alcohol assessment as well as risk assessments. And then we have the opportunity to provide those suicide risk assessments through Youth Eastside Services. And their assurance to us is day of response. And so that grid you saw earlier, that flow chart, if we get to the point where we need a risk assessment, Youth Eastside Services will make sure that they get one of their interventionists there to the school to provide that. If, on that next bullet, it's not a comprehensive high school, or our comprehensive high school doesn't have the social worker there, because right now we have a 0.5 social worker contracted through Evergreen Health at each of our high schools. And so that's kind of the layers of support that we've put in place to be able to implement our suicide prevention plan, knowing that in the past our risk assessment process was something that took place outside of school. The burden was on families to be able to access that, and students couldn't return to school until it was completed. This allows the assessment to be done day of, so that educationally we can respond accordingly, and also with the supports they need, we can respond accordingly. And so the next few slides just kind of go through the universal selective and indicative supports. I've outlined many of these already, but just the fact that we do have supports in place at all of our schools for chemical dependency, substance abuse, and all of our schools for those risk assessments when needed. And with those selective groups of students, not only is it when they go through that identification process that they receive kind of one-on-one support, we also have the opportunity to provide kind of group support for students as well with those resources. And then indicative, it really gets down to that individual student level of providing the level of support that they need in school and also connecting them with community providers for that long-term ongoing treatment.
So we are hoping tonight to be able to share some of our 2016 Healthy Youth Survey data. However, it's not yet available. We expect to receive the information in early March, so we will come back at a later time and do a focus on our Healthy Youth Survey data. Thank you, John. Do you guys have any questions?
I've got one, but and then I'll open it up. So, John, on the screening and response workflow, conveniently, even though it doesn't project very well, when I zoomed in, I can actually read all of that. This is beautiful stuff. Is this something that's visible for parents? And I'm not saying that in a negative way. This is a flow chart that would help parents, and I sure as heck have not seen this flow chart before as a parent. So,
good question.
That's an even broader question is because we've been doing so much more in these areas, and it's really wonderful to see. What about in terms of the parents, educating them and also letting them know what we're doing in terms of services and programs?
Yes. Anyway,
this is something that the parents also struggle with.
Okay, Mark?
When we release our 16 data, I'd like to recommend highly that we take a look and see how the impact of legalization of recreational marijuana had on use or opinions of teens on marijuana use. My thought is the access at home might be the same problem as the access to alcohol at home. And I'm wondering what impact that might have on your numbers. Just something to think about.
I'd just like to echo that the whole screening and response, that's great, because one of the biggest challenges, as you stated, was being out of school for a period of time till you could get this done. So it's taking that on. I'm assuming this should help the time out of school that our students used to see.
Absolutely.
And were they under suspension at that time when they'd be out of school? How? I'm just curious. Would it be considered, was an out-of-school suspension at that time? Was it?
Technically, I think technically it was emergency expulsion.
So we coded it emergency removal.
Removal, okay. Because if a student has a risk of harm to self or others. So, it was not so much about wanting to keep the student out of school, right? It was wanting to ensure that the student was getting the help. But as John mentioned, we've been able to change that because they're not waiting for weeks to get their risk assessment completed.
So one of the things that we could look at, I was sort of looking at how can we look to see if this is doing what we would hope. One is, are we seeing that decrease in the expulsion component over time? I wouldn't expect this for a period of time. Because that is one of those big factors to be looking at. And ideally that this could address some of those disparities that we see in that area as well. So kudos on really taking that on and coming up with a solid model. So it'd be nice to make sure that our data plays out, that it's succeeding at what we're doing.
Yep. Also with the having the in-school suspension, that was kind of coupled with this as well.
Nancy?
So how long have we had the Evergreen hospital component?
We funded,
2 years?
We funded it, I want to say this is the third year, but it took more than a year sort of to get implemented
Right.
because there were a lot of kind of contractual things, and they're actually Evergreen employees contracted to work here, so it took a little longer to ramp up and get implemented in all 4 high schools. So this would be
This is the second year.
full year of all of the comprehensive high schools having.
It'll be interesting to see how
5%.
much that is going to impact. I know while you were going through this with the suicide, cyberbullying is a big component of that now. Are we? I believe we're doing education in cyberbullying. How are we tying these two things together?
On that chart, there's a component that there's so much overlap, and so there was a component there of digital citizenship. So part of that is in the digital citizenship curriculum and requirements that we have in terms of how you act online, and so it's a component there as well as just in our anti-bullying efforts. We didn't include in this particular presentation the parts of student services that, I mean, it's hard to pull it out and say it's separate, but we kind of separated it for our presentation purposes tonight and put harassment, intimidation, and bullying in a different bucket. And I'm just trying to remember, we have student discipline and that part of student services in, is it 2 study sessions from now? I can't, or 2 board meetings from now. I don't have the work plan of the board in front of me, but we'll be able to loop back on what we're doing in that area in that presentation.
That's one piece of it, but the other piece I was thinking about is that students that are on the receiving end of the cyberbullying are at higher risk for self-harm, and that's very hard sometimes to identify.
That's true.
And I think it's something that always has to be up there when kids are starting to have issues, is that is one of those things that often is hidden.
Is the Healthy Youth Survey at all doing anything on it? I know they have bullying. I haven't seen anything specific to cyber, but that's something that might be a place. You can also request specific questions onto the Healthy Youth Survey as a local entity. That might be something to think about.
Mm-hmm. I know there's bullying questions. I just don't remember off the top of my head if there's anything specific to cyberbullying, but yeah.
I don't remember. If there isn't, there should, and they're always, how often we do that? Every 2 years?
Yep.
So I know they're always looking for input on the questions.
Well, and if you'll be
I can
presenting-
find the phone number for you. It starts with 236.
Well, as long as you're doing a presentation on this in 2 sessions, by then the 2016 ought to be out. So it'll be hot on the burner, and I think it's a great idea. Any further discussion items around tonight's SOUPS report?
Can I make one more comment?
No, but... Oh, sorry. What did you say?
Okay, Nancy, go for it.
Nancy, my comment collided with Nancy's.
I was starting to say something else. I really appreciate being able to download these PowerPoints directly so I can magnify them between the glasses and the blow-up so I can read the little charts. No, I wasn't saying no to somebody else, sorry.
John, you can't get a word in edgewise. Go ahead.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Nancy. I just also want to kind of call out that we have 2 partners here, Evergreen and YES, that they could work in competition with one another. They have truly partnered with us on this solution, and we have social workers from Evergreen and social workers from YES working for the same cause and students, and Matt Gillingham has done a pretty tremendous effort helping them partner together and understand their different roles in implementing our suicide prevention plan at all of our schools. So.
And partner with our very own guidance counselors as sort of that third leg of the stool. So since it's National Counseling Week,
Sorry, I thought
I
one
want to
more
make sure
question.
we get the plug in for them too.
It's your last question. Go for it.
Well, it was, I kept it. I didn't do it in the middle of the thing, of the presentation. So we're helping to support those two programs. With the funding formula work going on in Olympia, does anybody know offhand if there's going to be more funding? Because this is a huge need. We don't have enough elementary school elementary counselors. We do not have enough high school counselors in any of the areas, academics and social emotional. Is that part of the discussion? I haven't noticed.
Well, that is an absolutely lovely segue to Mark. Anything interesting happening down in Olympia?
Mark, I need you to have Mark. I need you to have the mic almost in your mouth. I can't hear you.
Is this better?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Siri and I attended both the federal Day on the Hill as well as our state Day on the Hill today. Federal, we were at Washington on the end of January, 30th, 31st, and the 1st. And while it was an exciting time to be there during the DeVos hearings, it was also a very distracted time away from topics such as ESSA, which we really needed to be concentrating on. Prior to going, in fact, rather than trying to get into the weeds with legislators, we decided to really focus on the issue of school choice, seeing as how we both believe that Lake Washington has a really good program already in place for choice schools. Perfect? No. Can improve? Yes. But it's a hell of a lot better than most folks. And I think that's a testament as to why the issue of charter schools really isn't that much of an issue in our communities. We met with Senator Cantwell, Representative Del Bene. The other folks were unfortunately unavailable. We did meet with staff, though, for Senator Murray. I believe, Sherry, you were able to meet with Senator Murray later in the week. Am I correct?
Yes. For a constituent coffee.
Okay. Well, it still is a nice touch base for the district. Also, today we were down in Olympia to meet with our state legislators to discuss the wonderful world of McCleary. I don't bring back good news. In fact, my message to Barbara earlier today was start preparing 3 budgets, because best case, worst case, and the prayer budget, because it doesn't look good. They were very heavily into pointing fingers at each other and holding our students hostage. And I don't like it, but that's the situation. We were able to discuss with some of the legislators, whom do we need to target to really move the dial away from this polarization and into action. And we were able to get some very good advice from a couple of the legislators, and that's heartening. And so we will work with the other school boards who have those individual legislators in their districts. I think it's important for us to try and do that each time, as opposed to, it's great to concentrate on our own legislators, but we need to use their intelligence, of their knowledge of who are the other folks who are persuadable, who are reasonable, and who can cross party lines as a responsible leader, as opposed to, shall we say, cowering behind their own party lines. And I wish I could give you a more upbeat message, but it's reality, folks. It looks very grim. They won't separate out the levy cliff from the other bills. They tried. They failed by 1 vote in the Senate. Gee, color me shocked. That's the difference between the two parties. It needs to be separated out. We're lucky that our drop-dead date for that is really April. But there are some districts, such as Seattle, that mid-February is when they have to start sending out pink slips. So it's nasty. That's it.
So basically, to explain to people who are listening, you saw absolutely no progress on the issue of the levy lid or the whole issue of school funding, and without the levy lid extension, we will all be doing serious budget cuts.
Serious
for the
budget
next
cuts
year.
for our gen ed kids, our special ed kids in particular. We offer services or we have available to our students services thanks to our levies that really are part of our operating budget when you get down to it.
Wow.
And it's not merely sheer numbers, it's the intensity of services. And that costs dollars, folks. And I'm very pleased the fact that our constituents see the need. And they have responded very positively on our levies. They're to be congratulated. Unfortunately, that wisdom isn't shared throughout the state. Or, for that matter, the financial bases aren't there throughout the state, too.
So that's 1059 that they're not able to split out.
The thing to remember, 1059 did pass out of the House.
Yeah.
And was definitely moved through very quickly. It's been in the Senate, and it has sat. The Senate approach at this point is saying that the bill that passed out of there, which was the funding plan that they put on, I forgot the actual number for it at this point. It's been a very long day. That plan, they say, resolves the levy cliff. So they have not been willing to bring forth the levy cliff. That was definitely a key message that was brought by all the school board directors who were in town in Olympia, that levy cliff of that 4% difference, that's what we're speaking to when we speak to that. And that delay is important due to the different components of that impact around that. So that message is there. We just need to continue to hold that message. Around the funding piece that you speak to, as sort of Superintendent Rakedahl put it, he said, February is policy time. Funding really doesn't occur until March. So at this point, it really is setting that vision and that component, and so this is the point to speak to those pieces with them. There's a lot of discussion around a prototypical school model versus the per pupil model that's being put forward. Really, you're just playing a game of words. It's all about ensuring that we fund our education amply and sustainably through forces, whether you choose to name that a prototypical school model with enhanced funding for student needs, or you name that a per pupil cost. You can work the units however you want. That's where our math comes in, and we can do that. So your question makes it very difficult. Are those things being spoken about those needs? The prototypical school model puts those in. I think the Senate would probably tell you, yeah, we do that by saying we give you extra funding for low-income students. We do it for homeless. I think those needs are thought about, but I'm not sure they're explicit at this point in time. And it's that big, ample funding. That's the key message to get out.
I would highly encourage any of those folks listening out in the district to contact your legislators, to call and call and call as often as possible to certain legislators who are perhaps holding our children hostage, and put that message out to them that we really need to have this resolved. Our students need it resolved. Your children need it resolved.
And facilities, which is sort of our other really big area. That was the other component that we spoke to quite a bit. There are several bills around the simple majority.
For levy.
For bond.
For bond, sorry,
yes.
yeah.
Whether those will get traction remains to be seen. So there's a lot of things that are occurring in that line. The cost allocation for the school SCAP, I'm blanking on it, right? Construction assistance, thank you. So there's a variety of bills that are dealing with that. As we have shifted to several more construction bonds having passed throughout the state, that puts an added pressure onto the state to have construction assistance available for those school districts for those projects that are in the pipeline now. So those are some of the conversations that are occurring and some of the difficulty.
Well, our former superintendent of public instruction made I don't know if you want to term it a shot across the bow. He put in a capital budget request that was for the actual costs, which makes it gigantic compared to what has been paid through the SCAP program, the School Construction Assistance Program. But he decided he would show the actual cost, the area cost allowance that is really needed, and the square foot allocation that's really needed, because the state has been underdoing both of those numbers for always, probably. So the real numbers are out there.
What I would say is several of our representatives were very much asking for, and senators, because we serve many different legislative districts, specific numbers and explanations around sort of how these funding impact us and what to do. So that'll be our next step, to make sure that we maintain those contacts and provide that information so that they can make those contacts as well down there and be able to speak to the needs of our districts.
Well, thank you
So
both.
that's a good thing, is what I would say. That's a very positive that actually
And
came
thanks
out,
to
I
the
thought.
staff, really, for coming through with some very specific numbers that we were able to provide them. Granted, I know we had you folks crunching to the last minute, but I really appreciate it, because each one of the legislators that received that, their eyes lit up, said, now I have some numbers to talk about. This is the impact on my students in my districts, and they appreciate that. Even the naysayers were appreciative of having numbers, so they had it in front of them.
Well, thank you both for attending.
Yes.
It was very well attended. I mean, it was impressive. And the other thing I would say is WASDA and WASDA, so the School Directors Association, as well as the Superintendents Association, the business officers, as well their executive directors and their legislative consultants are actively working, and some of that is some very key things. So information to work through them. So if anybody is ever interested in testifying on any of the bills that come forward, that can be supported through WASDA. Jessica Vazris would be happy to support, to make sure you know what to say and how to do it and sign up and get it all ready. So, and that's the piece. Hearing from people directly down there does make a difference, and it is of high value.
I'd also recommend that we are going to stay in touch with Jessica on a variety of levels. In fact, what I'm going to basically stay in contact with her on is it is time to testify on each bill or any amendments to any bill. I want us down there. We can't just go down there once a year and consider it done, or have them meet with us in December and consider it done. This is an ongoing process. These folks need a fire lit under their backsides, and right now they're just not feeling it enough.
So is the Senate thinking of what they passed as addressing McCleary, or?
There's a variety of different philosophies behind that. You know, part of it, the idea is that it's very early in the session. So this is the negotiating point. This is the starting point. So the good thing is we do actually have the governor's budget that got put out, the House Democrats, the Senate Republican, and then you actually are supposed to be seeing a third from the House Republican, or fourth, I'm sorry, that's supposed to be coming. They're there, so we can now have that conversation. So this is now our time to be able to engage and help to influence what occurs down there, so that it's clear where those things. In each plan, there's good, and each plan, there's issues that need to be addressed, and it's likely to be a combination of all the above. And this is the time to make those voices heard.
Yeah. No one, as Sarah just said, no one bill is perfect. In fact, there's flaws in all of them. There's suppositions in all of them. There's Candyland dreams in all of them. Exactly. And it's incumbent on us to really keep them focused, or to focus them on reality, because it's a big game of chicken. Who's going to flinch first? And to be quite frank, while they're playing chicken, our kids are getting fried.
Well, on that perky note.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further update? Because that's the best encapsulation I've ever heard of it, that February's policy, March is numbers. And right now it's about trying to get stuff on the table as here's the framework in which we'd like to negotiate the numbers. That is what I have seen happen down there. So I'm not ready to panic, but at the same time, I appreciate the point.
Oh, it's time to panic.
I've only got so much adrenaline. But it is definitely time for
Conversation,
exactly. Getting the word in the ear of everybody who we can. So thank you so much. All right. And now we're on to board follow-up, board future agenda / debrief, which I'd like to condense into one thing. Anybody have any? So I think we had one item that we had covered about follow-up around the AP tests. So that's on the follow-up list. Beyond that, I don't have anything from this evening. Anyone else? Okay. Which brings us to board comments. Any board comments on?
Nice job tonight, Chris.
Thank you. I'll get the knack of this eventually, so please bear with me. So with that, the board's going to meet in study session. Oh, wait a minute. That was today, Mark. The board's meeting, what's the date of our next study session? Is it 1 week? March 13th. Okay, sorry. Oh, March 13th, right. Okay, so it's 1 month from today. The board will meet in study session on Monday, March 13th at 5 p.m. in the Hughes room just behind there. We'll be discussing the choice and innovation / accelerated programs as long as Quest. At 7 p.m. we'll have our standard board meeting here in the boardroom. Because it's the first meeting of the month, we'll be having public comment at the time. I think that covers everything, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Nancy, seconded by Eric. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against? No. Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. And we did it 2 minutes early.